Ladies and gentlemen, you may access the simultaneous interpretation feature by clicking on the globe icon on the bottom right of your screen. Or if you're using a cell phone, click on the three dots on the bottom right hand, then click on Language Interpretation. Choose English if you would like to hear the interpretation in English. Choose Indonesian if you would like to hear the interpretation in Indonesian. However, please do not click Mute Original Audio to ensure that you can continue to follow the floor discussion when there is a switch in floor language. For the speakers, please choose the same channel as the language you're using. For example, choose English to speak in English and Indonesian to speak in Indonesian to avoid a collision of voice with the interpreters. Thank you. Para hadirin yang terhormat, untuk menggunakan fitur penjuru bahasan secara simultan, silakan tekan tombol bola dunia di bagian kanan bawah. Atau jika menggunakan telepon genggam, silakan tekan 3 titik pada bagian kanan bawah, kemudian Language Interpretation. Silakan pilih channel yang Anda butuhkan, klik English untuk mendengarkan terjemahan dalam bahasa Inggris, atau Indonesian untuk mendengarkan terjemahan dalam bahasa Indonesia. Mohon jangan menekan tombol Mute Original Audio agar bisa tetap mendengarkan acara walaupun terjadi perubahan bahasa. Bagi para pembicara, silakan pilih channel sesuai dengan bahasa yang ingin Anda gunakan. Misalnya, pilih English untuk berbicara dalam bahasa Inggris, dan pilih Indonesian untuk berbicara dalam bahasa Indonesia, untuk menghindari percampuran suara dengan interpreter. Terima kasih.
Hello, good afternoon, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Very warm greetings to all of you and welcome to the closing ceremony of EU Climate Diplomacy Week 2021. And throughout the week starting October 11th until now, until today, EU Climate Diplomacy Week has hosted 14 virtual events in the format of Ambassadors Roundtable, talk shows, panel discussions, and also youth workshops involving nearly 50 organizing partners. Articulating the central theme of this year's Climate Diplomacy Week, ambition and action. The series of virtual events have facilitated dialogue and cooperation on climate change among various stakeholders, as well as showcasing success stories to inspire broader climate action. So it's such a long week, and thank you very much for joining throughout our program from October 11th up to today. And ladies and gentlemen, as we are reaching the end of the Climate Diplomacy Week 2021, it is with honor to have the Ambassador of the European Union to Indonesia and also Brunei Darussalam together with us this afternoon. And I would like to kindly welcome His Excellency Mr. Vincent Piquet to present his opening remarks. Your Excellency, the time is yours.
Well, thanks very much indeed for giving me the floor, and let me thank everybody for joining in and for the interest that you're showing in this activity today, but also over the past 5 days. So, selamat sore, teman-teman, and cordial welcome to the closing ceremony of our the EU Climate Diplomacy Week Indonesia in 2021. This has been the fourth time that we are doing this in Indonesia, and yes, of course, the event is now drawing to a close, and but I'm very convinced that the week has been a week full of inspiration, full of insights, for everybody, including ourselves, including myself, on how to act on our ambition when it comes to tackling the climate crisis. We've heard an awful lot of interesting, fascinating, and impressive stories and presentations from a host of speakers, and I think it's really something that we can all take with us for the way ahead. The theme this week was ambition and action. Under that theme, we brought together 15 sessions in a span of 5 days. We have had the participation and contributions from 40 partners joining in from Indonesia, from the European Union, from ASEAN, and from elsewhere in this global debate. We've reached a very large audience in Indonesia, but also beyond. We have been able to count 5,000 persons who attended the various sessions. We have not been able to count the many more people that joined in via YouTube or via the printed media and others that will watch the recordings of the sessions that will stay available. So all in all, I think a wonderful outreach in terms of numbers of persons attending, but also in terms of the quality of the persons attending, the variety of participants in the audience, and the geographic spread. Most of us were speaking from Jakarta, evidently, like where I am now, but I know that we've had participants from all over this vast country, all the way from Aceh in the northwest down to West Papua in the southeast. We started the week with a pre-event which was, I think, particularly impressive. In that pre-event, organized by the Foreign Policy Community of Indonesia, FPCI, under the leadership of Pak Dino Jali Patel, we had a dialogue involving ambassadors of 18 countries from around the globe. A truly impressive number and a truly representative statement from all of these ambassadors about the need for working together on tackling the climate crisis. The session was followed by participants from all over the globe, literally, from, of course, Indonesia, ASEAN, and Asia, all the way to South America. And it was very heartening to me and to others, I think, to hear this very strong signal by leading diplomats based in Jakarta on the common concern of tackling climate action. Our sessions were likewise in their respective ways, I think, very strong in what they conveyed. From the side of the EU and the EU member states, very important statements by a number of participating ambassadors from countries like Denmark, Germany, Poland, the ambassadors based here, from youth representatives from Indonesia and from the EU, and from many civil society representatives based in Indonesia. And that statement of common and mutual interest and determination was echoed throughout the week. I won't go and try to summarize everything that was discussed. Of course, that's impossible, but we've covered an awful lot of ground in these 5 days. We've looked at the topic of how to transform the economy in Indonesia, in Europe, elsewhere, in order to make the economy clean, use clean energy, introduce the circular economy with best practices presented by some of our member states, and with other ideas shared on how the EU and Indonesia can cooperate towards this green transition. The second big theme was about how to preserve the ecosystem, biodiversity. Topics like land use, forestry, the oceans, of course, very important for Indonesia. All of these hold the key to a sustainable future for all of us, and protecting the ecosystems will also help protect us from the danger of future pandemics. The session on the protection of ecosystems showcased how young people and grassroots communities in Indonesia are joining in their care for the ecosystem. And we had also discussions on how the EU, Indonesia, young people and civil society organizations can collaborate. The third big theme was about taking everyone on board, an inclusive process. We heard from young people, once again, from the civil societies and also from the cities, from municipalities, because as we all know, it is municipalities that have a tremendously important job to fulfill if it comes to building up a circular and sustainable environment for their citizens. So bringing together municipalities within Indonesia and between Indonesia and Europe is one of the key takeaways that I have, and we will be working on that with our Indonesian partners for the period to come. Lastly, we talked about ambition, one of the key words in the motto of our week. How can we raise ambition? We know all of us need to raise ambition if we are to keep the global warming to about 1.5 degrees centigrade. And so we looked at different modalities, looked at financing options, about involving businesses, private sector, as well as state-owned businesses, and we looked at the use of technologies. And I think we had a particularly good talk from the Indonesian Minister of Development Planning of Indonesia, Bapak Suharso Monoarfa. Strong message about how businesses can participate in the national effort for reaching the climate ambition and for making it sustainable, and for making clear to everybody that growing green can go hand in hand with growing growth. And we have shown evidence of that in Europe, and we are beginning also to see very strong evidence of that in Indonesia. Now, that is all discussion. We're sitting behind screens and in our offices, in our working spaces. Of course, it's at the end of the day, of course, all about action, doing what we are talking about and walking the talk. And just to underline that message, tomorrow we have one last activity. It's not in the office, it's going to be outdoors. We're going out to one of the mangrove reserves very in the north of Jakarta to plant mangrove, to see how the local authorities and civil society work together in preserving and building the mangrove growth there, and in order to signal to everybody the role that mangrove planting can have in building a circular economy. So that's what we've done. This afternoon, you've already announced it, Rory. We will have the drawing the event to a close with by listening to some of the aspirations of young people. We will be joined by a very talented artist, Rara Sekar, for a musical performance, which I'm very much looking forward too. And I conclude by saying that yes, this climate diplomacy week will soon be over, but we will carry on. We have, I think, built more of a community between Indonesia and the EU. We have strengthened the common resolve and determination that we need to work together for tackling climate change and for making our economy and society sustainable. The EU member states and the EU are your partners, our partners for Indonesia and for its private sector, for its civil society and for its citizens. And we will be reaching out to you as we go along in different ways to realize the common goal of stopping global warming and building a circular and net zero society and economy for over the coming decades. So thank you very much to everybody for making this week possible. I would like to thank in the first place, as ambassador of the EU member states, the ambassadors of the EU member states and all our wonderful teams based in Jakarta for everything that they have brought to the table. I would like to thank the Indonesian government for their support. The different ministries have been very prominent, also at the level of ministers, and but also the senior and other officials in charge of climate, of biodiversity, of energy, and renewables. So thank you very much, dear colleagues from the Indonesian government, for your contributions. And lastly, and very importantly, of course, civil society, young people, the academics, the experts, the people who really know, they have played a fantastic role and made great contributions. And I'm very grateful for that. And we look forward to staying in touch with you as well. Indonesia is a key partner for the European Union. Your country is vast, your population is large, your biodiversity is tremendous. There is a lot that Indonesia still has in its potential, and we want to support Indonesia, work together with Indonesia to realize that potential for the common goal. The European Union will be your partner. Thank you very much indeed. Terima kasih banyak.
Mr. Ambassador, Pak PK, thank you very much for your inspiring talk and also closing speech. And although the Climate Diplomacy Week 2021, ladies and gentlemen, has come to an end, but our ambition and action spirit in advancing climate action should remain forever. And through collaboration and also start taking actions collectively in all parts of society, the Climate Diplomacy Week 2021 has also been a showcase that we care, we can, and we do in advancing climate actions. It's been a very long week, a tiring one, but inspiring also. So it's well deserving to give ourselves a big round of applause for sharing insights, thoughts, and also debate in this year's Climate Diplomacy Week. And thank you so much for joining us since October 11th. And now I would like to invite once again His Excellency Mr. Vincent Pickett and all speakers, Ibu Henriette Vargeman, Mauriza, Andi Bahar, and also Rara Sekartu. Kindly open your camera and we'll have a photo group session together. Okay? Please put on your nicest smile and say cheers. On my count, 3, 2, 1. Let's take it once more. 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you once again, Pak Duta Besar, Pak Ambassador Pickett, for sharing some important messages about this very important event, and that EU has always been a close partner for Indonesia and its private sectors. So, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we have captured some great moments throughout the week, and we had insightful discussions and also meaningful virtual interactions filled with passion, ambition, and our commitment to climate actions. And let's have a look at this video highlighting the Climate Diplomacy Week 2021.
We can and we do to step up action collectively in all parts of society and bring everyone on board to take action to keep the 1.5 degrees centigrade target within reach. And the time to act is now, and we should do it together.
I still think that there is a possibility to go even further in a way that would both help combating climate change, creating new economic possibilities for Indonesia, but actually also ensuring a lower cost of energy in Indonesia.
We need to ensure that 30% of global land and sea areas are put under protection.
Polish regions are ready to share with Indonesian regions our experience in transforming entire socio-economic structure from fossil fuels orientation towards new technologies.
We are deeply in danger if we cannot reduce our greenhouse gas emission in the next decade and avoid temperature increase above 1.5 centigrade degrees.
You can be creative, you can put it together in any way you want. We have seen on other occasions that the youth in particular here is very creative, so we look very much forward to this.
In the past 5 years working with men and men only, and we found that the last 2 years we've been working with women, and it's much more effective in making bamboo seedlings.
For Indonesia, we have ratified the Paris Agreement with the commitment of decreasing greenhouse gas emissions by 29% and 41% with international aid by 2030.
Kita berharap beberapa pihak yang ada di masyarakat sipil maupun di kelompok penelitian dan kelompok masyarakat yang lain bisa secara langsung mengkoneksikan diri dengan teman-teman yang ada di DPR untuk menyampaikan hal yang terkait dengan energi terbarukan, karena ini sangat dekat dengan kehidupan sehari-hari.
Without clean and green electricity, all the emission reduction target for the transportation sector, for the heat sector cannot be met.
Kebijakan yang dikeluarkan pemerintah saat ini, hari ini, itu akan memberikan dampak kepada masa depan kami dalam 10 ataupun 20 tahun yang akan datang.
We should not only see the waste management sector, we have to come out of our post-consumer waste management action.
Indonesia has been actively pursuing SCP through policy and implementation, including the strengthening and expansion of its green, sustainable public procurement or GSPP capacities.
We need to look more into recycling, but mainly we also need to look into how do we reduce waste and how do we repair the things instead of just buying new things.
That concrete and bold decisions need to be made to save our future, our children's future, and the future of our planet. By protecting the climate, we not only stop global warming, but we also protect biodiversity and provide livelihoods for local communities.
If we could understand the impact we as people had on the environment, then we could improve that relationship, but we had to understand it in order to improve it.
Many parties has begun to realize the importance of applying the concept of Basel Reserve as a means for sustainable development in their area.
German Development Corporation, which is implemented by GIZ in 2 projects, we are trying to help to achieve such sustainable economic development.
Our opinions and perspectives span a wide breadth of knowledge and understanding of the socio-ecological complexity in which we are living.
Fighting climate change does not work if we do not protect our seas and oceans and make full use of their potential to store carbon. Doing so requires a global effort and the youth is taking the lead.
Yang bisa kita lakukan pertama adalah menghentikan degradasi dan melakukan restorasi lebih banyak.
Sampai saat ini, Satria Mangrove atau konservasi mangrove di Balikpapan telah berhasil menanam 1.633 mangrove di 40 hektar lahan das manggar dan terus bertambah.
Indonesia will be at the forefront of global climate action over the coming years.
We must reduce as much as possible CO2 emissions produced by fossil fuels and other greenhouse gases, including methane.
And realize that we have to work hand in hand in order to make a bigger impact for our planet.
And I want the politicians to know that the youth is the key to create change.
I want the politicians to include meaningful youth participation in decision-making concerning climate crisis.
I want the politicians to take serious action in climate crisis.
Oxfam work together to make sure that country and companies are responsible for the global output so that we can make the most significant contribution.
The Green Livelihood Alliance mission regarding to climate inclusion is to ensure that tropical forests and forest landscapes in Indonesia are sustainably and inclusively governed to mitigate and adapt to climate change, fulfill human rights, and safeguard of local livelihoods.
Semua pihak, baik kementerian terkait maupun subnasional, baik di tingkat provinsi, kabupaten, kota, harus secara bersama-sama melakukan aktivitas di bidang perubahan iklim.
We do the campaign about the electricity efficiency.
Akan kita upayakan pengurangan transportasi massal yang harus kita kuatkan sehingga tidak banyak polusi.
Pemerintah daerah adalah pejuang iklim dan itu kita sudah lihat dari aksi nyata yang ada di daerah.
Wow, and that has been our Climate Diplomacy Week 2021. And ladies and gentlemen, as we know and we realize that climate change is undoubtedly one of the most pressing issues affecting our world and will be a major issue that young people will have to contend now and in the future. And there's no better time to engage young people rather than right now. And in the past few years, we have all witnessed youth leaderships towards climate action across the globe, including Indonesia. And yesterday, on October 14th, EU Climate Diplomacy Week, in partnership with the Climate Reality Project Indonesia, gathered youth activists from many parts of Indonesia to discuss and also address main urgencies of climate action. And today, we are pleased to have two young climate advocates who share their aspirations for the country's leaders in advancing climate action. We have Mauriza Arifia and also Andi Bahari. Hello, guys. How are you doing?
Hello.
So thank you so much for joining us, Mauriza and also Andi. Let me introduce them first to you. Mauriza Arifia is a Bachelor of Science and environmental activist. She began her journey campaigning for the climate crisis as she co-founded Marine Buddies Tangerang. Mauriza actively participated in mangrove restoration in Tangerang coastal area with Marine Buddies Tangerang, and last year, Mauriza was trained as climate reality leader in the Climate Reality Project Global Training alongside 500 other climate reality leaders in Indonesia. Meanwhile, Andi Bahari, or Abe, is a co-leader for World Cleanup Day Indonesia, a global-scale cleanup movement to trigger behavioral changes in waste management. Abe is also a mediator for 2,000 plus local leaders throughout Indonesia Archipelago, where he holds training to collaborate with more than 3,000 plus communities and millions of Indonesian volunteers to make sure their aspirations are well heard in national and international conferences. He has spoken in Generating Solidified Youth Engagement for Climate Justice, Sustainable Development Goals Asia Summit 2020, Let's Do It World Conference 2020, Leaders Academy for Asia and Pacific Region 2021, and last but not least, Leaders Academy for Africa 2021. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mauriza and Abe. Guys, the screen is yours.
Hello everyone. Thank you for giving the youth space to speak their voice in the session. My name is Mauriza Arifia. Here, we are not just represent our community, we are here as Indonesian youth, sharing our concern about climate crisis. And it is our time to take action, because youth is a future and our future is at stake. From yesterday's discussion, youth activists in Indonesia gather and have talked about the voice of Indonesian youth. We share our aspiration for climate action issuing biodiversity, food system, waste, and energy or just transition. Next slide. And next. The first topic we mentioned is biodiversity. Indonesia has mega diversity and it's become our identity. But facing the climate, there are problems in the race of climate crisis. First of all, there is illegal animal trading, temperature rise, overpopulation that leads to land degradation and affect to habitat loss and extinction of its flora and fauna. There is much correlation between one problem to another. Thus, we discuss about what we can do and settle the key statements about biodiversity. First is incorporating biodiversity into the Indonesian education curriculum. It is important to include curriculum environmental and curriculum about biodiversity based in Indonesia education. Also, we must highlight the importance of education about biodiversity of flora and fauna and introduce it to the children in early age so that their sense of ownership is created. We also want to promote sustainable use of biodiversity for local communities to increase economic values in the region. One of the ways is introducing the packaging values of products from using local plants in the surrounding area. Applying sustainable ecotourism by collaborating with stakeholders and indigenous stakeholders to carry out the programs, because we need everyone to take action in every sector. Then we highlight the mangrove ecosystem is important, and rehabilitation and protection of its ecosystem is important because mangrove can maintain biodiversity in the environment and especially in the coastal area environment. Also, the ecosystem play a role in the carbon sequestration. The last is involving youth in the policy-making decision at the regional and national levels. The next issue we address is about food system in Indonesia. One of the problems, the next slide please, is food loss and waste. Food loss and waste, then its correlation with the distribution and supply chain that have been implemented in the fields. So we discuss about this topic and settle the statement. The first is start to implement a wise food system by involving farmers in policy making. Collaboration between the farmers and stakeholders is important to manage the land use and the possible food resource. At individual levels, we can start to increase self-awareness of local food. We can start buy local and eat local. Implementation of local food diversification is also important because we have diverse food resources and each area of Indonesia have unique local food. Just focusing in one food resource is a waste of our diverse local food. The next is we need a good management and distribution. The slide before. The next is we need a good management and distribution of local farmers' crops, and increase the packaging product to follow the interest of society, so it can help to increase the economic values of the society. The last is introduce permaculture as an environmentally friendly food system. We also can set the mindset about we can do farming not just in agriculture area, but we can do in our home. The last two statements will be explained by my friends. Abi, thank you.
Hello, I will continue. Thank you, Isa, for explaining very well for the two first sections, and my name is Andi Bahari. If you should call me Abe, I will continue for the waste and energy sections. Okay, so first for the waste part, we definitely work with conscious citizens who are already aware what should they do and what they can make a bigger impact. So for example, they have to become inspirations for their surrounding to do, such as zero waste lifestyle, and they can do a lot of different type of small campaigns throughout their daily life, such as bringing their own things, using their own tote bag, tumblers, etc., and also composting organic waste to decrease household waste outputs, where this will decrease a lot of the output that will be sent to landfills. And we also need to do segregate and send our recycled items to the local waste banks or recycling facilities. We must reuse or repair our belongings instead of keep buying new items and etc. We also supporting waste-related issues campaign to promote and encourage others that our waste is our own responsibility, not others, not government, but we each individual must know that our own waste is our own very own responsibilities. And we need to joining communities and or organizations for direct contributions through real actions for their local communities or nations. And then we need to maybe start thinking for doing new startups that innovative and also to encourage a green circular economy. Next, please. For the educational part, we also need to realize that waste education or general green education must be part of elementary school activities. And it's crucial to plant the seeds in our young generation's mindset that this is part of our daily life. And we also need to realize that this should be part of our formal curriculums in all over education levels, from elementary to university level, that we must implement green educations. For company stakeholders, big companies must responsible with their single-use packagings through biodegradable or eco-friendly packagings, or buy back their single-use packagings with discounts to promote citizens to send back their used packagings. And also, the next point is innovate to create more sustainable products in affordable price because the demand is already here. And preventing greenwashing towards general public. Just because it's trending doesn't mean that they just, changing the design and claim that it's already green. It's not like that. And we really need that big corporates to really do real and committed transformations. Next, please. And for the government stakeholder, governments should align the policies with the real implementations through real actions, fines, and sanctions. Citizens are more afraid of wearing masks or helmets because they get direct fines, but not waste-related issues, including or also involving youth in policy-making decisions because they can give realistic inputs or opinions. And also we expect governments should prioritize funding local communities to work hand in hand with the government to spread more awareness. And for all combinations or stakeholders, collaboration is the key to tackling waste issue because it's complicated nature. And stop blaming each others and hold forum discussions group to discuss with each stakeholders what roles and what real actions that we can do together. Next, please. So for the next one, for the energy or just transitions sectors, there are several points. So youth need factual information regarding energy issues because usually the energy, the facts is not well provided to us, so we don't know which one needs to be tackled first. And the importance of increasing awareness and knowledge about the sustainable energy for general public or citizens. And transitions for fossil-based to renewal in which impacted equality in gender, improving sustainable economy and workforce in sustainable sector. Committed to do real actions such as School Go Solar, and also creating campaign for youth regarding saving and sustainable energy through games or social media challenges. Next, please. So for the wrapping up all the key statements that these 4 sectors that we discussed yesterday, so we come up with this statement. We all must realize youth are the future. Youth must vocal with their voice because youth voice matters. In order to create larger impacts, youth must do real actions, constructive discussions, and must be included along with all stakeholders across all sectors to make an overall larger impact in society. There are no such words as too late. If we are not the one to initiate, who else will? Because of very big changes begin within conscious individuals that come together. Yes, you are one of them. Let's save our planet, save our earth, and save our future. Thank you. That's all from us.
Thank you. Let's give a big round of applause for both Mauriza and also Abe. Thank you very much. Youth are the future. Thus, youth have to be vocal because their voice matters to young Indonesians that are taking real actions in inspiring Indonesian people to take actions related to our environmental issues. Once again, Mauriza and also Abe, thanks very much. Ladies and gentlemen, with the spirit of ambition and also action as the central theme of Climate Diplomacy Week, we organized social media challenge called Aksi Iklimku, or My Climate Action. And we are delighted to receive so many inspiring entries from all participants sharing their climate actions. And after some thoughtful discussions, the committee has decided to select 3 winners of the Aksi Iklimku Social Media Challenge. And to announce the winners, I would like to invite Ibu Henriette Vargeman, First Counselor of Environment, Climate Action and ICT, EU Delegation, Indonesia. Ibu Henriette, please, the time is yours.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon again to everybody. So yes, indeed, we have had a great social media competition called Aksi Iklimku, and now I have learned to pronounce it since Monday. So thanks to everybody who has sent their contributions. We've received contributions on all kind of aspects of climate action, low carbon lifestyle. So it was difficult to select the winners, but we had to. So I'm mentioning them now in no particular order. So first of all, there was Salfarone, I don't know how to pronounce that though, who shared her daily low carbon activities from minimizing waste to, okay, this is not the one, but okay. So then I will speak about this one first. This is also a winner. Idam Demus, which is an elementary school teacher who bikes to school and has initiated a biker community in his school, which he hopes to be followed by his students and other students. And we think this is a really inspiring idea, and we are very much inspired, well, very happy for this entry. So Idam Demus, you are a winner. Next one. So you show what you have on your screen and I talk. Okay, next one is Yuda Andika, and she has showcased the joy of growing her own food, which can ensure pesticide-free food, while also contributing to reducing carbon emission from transporting fruits and vegetables from other places. Big congratulations to you also, Yuda. Next one. Okay, here we go. Salfarona that I started with. Salfarona has made a little video where she showed her daily low carbon activities from minimizing waste, saving energy, using public transport. You can see it here, but at least if not, then you should look and follow her on Instagram. And all of these will allow them to Instagram. The moderator will tell exactly what it is because I have forgotten. So with this, thank you very much from my side also for a very amazing week. And don't forget to post all these great things, hashtag Act for Green on our social media, new social media community, which has also had a great start during the week. So thank you, everybody, and see you next year for this.
Ibu, terima kasih banyak Bu, Ibu Henriette. Thank you very much, and congratulations to all three winners for your contribution and all your social media posts. And also the social media challenge, Aksi Iklimku has concluded. You are still encouraged to keep sharing your climate actions online. And EU delegations in Indonesia has also launched social media platform, as Ibu Henriette previously mentioned, Act for Green, to inspire larger climate actions. And follow Act for Green, ladies and gentlemen, friends, in Facebook, and also Act for Green ID on Instagram, and let us motivate and empower more people to take actions to protect the future of our planet. So ladies and gentlemen, in this wonderful opportunity, we are also pleased to have a passionate environmentalist come musician joining with us today. And through her music project, she has been artistically sharing stories that reflect her perspectives on social and environmental issues. Among her pool of passions, gardening is one of the activities that have nurtured her love and forged a deeper relationship with Mother Nature. She has also been actively campaigning about composting in her neighborhood. So please welcome the one and only Rara Sekar. Rara, how are you doing?
Hi, Rory. I'm good. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Rara, thank you for joining our session today. Why gardening? Why composting, Rara? Can you explain?
Well, I started gardening around 2016 when I was studying in New Zealand. Everyone was just gardening and they all had their own home gardens. So I just wanted to be part of the culture and learn from that culture. So that's how I started gardening. And then, but I didn't not only learn about the how-tos of gardening, I ended up learning so much more. I learned about the politics of land use, and then also how development versus the ecological justice discourses around it. And I also learned about the climate crisis and how we are within it already. And that's all through gardening, because you experience it. You not only learn it from books or from other people's stories or sharings and knowledges, but you also experience it first-handedly, because you have to take care of nature in order to be part of it. So that's how I learned gardening.
It's really interesting, though. I mean, you do such an amazing work, and you campaign about environmental issues, starting from a simple thing, simple first step, gardening. But how do you communicate, and how do you campaign about the messages that you get from your experiences in gardening to a larger audience? Through social media, perhaps, or through your works in music, or what?
I think I do it through many ways. Of course, through social media. That's one of the first and foremost medium that's really helpful in conveying our messages about what the things we believe in. But I think music is also an education. They're both a part of my way of communicating my worldviews and where my stance is on a lot of social and ecological issues. I recently released an album that is inspired by my gardening journey. The album is called Kenduri, and I think if you're into taking care of nature and wanting to be part of this ecological justice movement, maybe this album will resonate with you and help and become like
reminder,
some kind of some kind of energy that binds us together.
I do agree. And I'm up for that. I'm definitely up for that. But resonating to the main message of climate diplomacy week, we care, we can, and we do. What messages you'd like to convey to our audience today to take up their roles in climate action?
I really like the examples that we just saw from the winners of the social media competition. I think small and very introspective changes are very important. They are very important foundations to more meaningful and more structural changes. But we must consider doing collective action so that our our actions are more meaningful and more structural. So we have to work hand in hand, not only between communities, but also with government, with the private sector, with everyone, basically, because I think the crisis is really not only in front of us, but we are already within the climate crisis. So I think there is no time to wait, and it is definitely now if we want to change, to save our generations.
Rara, before we discuss about your music and your performance, I'd like to ask you about the awareness and also realization among our youth. And we've seen lots of youth in this 1 week forum that they are really concerned about climate issues. They really care. They take actions, just like Abe and also Mauriza. But youth in general, do you think that Indonesian youth are aware of this issue and they, are willing to take actions in general?
Yes, of course. I actually think that young people are more caring and more concerned about the climate crisis and the future, because they're the ones who will be living this future. So just looking at Mauriza and Andy Abe, who just recently shared with us their campaigns with us, they're very important points that I believe we should take notes from. People from the older generation should take note from. And also, I think Mauriza also mentioned about indigenous communities and how their knowledge is something really important for us, including young indigenous communities. So I think of course they are very, very in the forefront of this movement and have to be supportive because they are the ones who are very relevant to the current condition.
A very quick answer, and please a very quick question, and please a very quick answer. So today you will be singing Towers of the Wind, the original soundtrack of Pocahontas. Can you tell us why do you think this song is relevant to the current environmental challenges we are facing now?
I think we can interpret this song, this very old song, with a threefold perspective. First, from an ecological perspective, and second, from a feminist perspective, because Pocahontas is a very strong female character, and the third, from the colonial perspective, and how we should listen, respect, and also learn from indigenous communities when it comes to environmental protection.
Rara, thank you very much for your inspiring stories and also activism and also messages to us. So ladies and gentlemen and dear participants, let's now watch Rara performing Colors of the Wind.
You think you own whatever land you land on. The earth is just a dead thing you can claim. But I know every rock and tree and creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name. You think the only people who are people are the people who look and think like you. But if you walk the footsteps of a stranger, you learn things you never knew, Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn moon, or asked the grinning bobcat why he grinned? Can you sing with all the voices of the mountain? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Come run the hidden pine trails of the forest. Come taste the sun-sweet berries of the earth. Come roll in all the riches all around you, and for once never wonder what there were. The rainstorm and the river water are my friends, and we're all connected to each other in the circle, in the hoop that never ends. How high does the sycamore grow? If you cut it down, then you'll never know, and you'll never hear the wolf cry to the blue corn moon, or whether we're white or copper skinned. You need to sing with all the voices of the mountain. You need to paint with all the colors of the wind. You can own the earth and still all you own is earth, until you can paint with all the colors of the wind.
Wow. That was Rara, Colors of the Wind. Thank you so much, Rara. Wow, such a deep and meaningful song you have. Ladies and gentlemen, okay, we are now reaching at the end of the Climate Diplomacy Week 2021. Rara, thanks so much once again, Rara. And stay safe and keep inspiring. And on behalf of the EU delegations in Indonesia, I would like to extend our huge appreciation and thanks to all EU member states and all organizing partners participating in this event. Also to all participants who had made the event engaging and filled with lively and also insightful discussion. My name is Shori Asha. I would like to say goodbye to all of you, and let's keep the momentum built during the Climate Diplomacy Week 2021 continues and pave the way towards our shared interest to keep 1.5 degrees Celsius in reach. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much once again. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll see you next year at the Climate Diplomacy Week 2022. Bye-bye and stay safe.